k bit message out of that. We used to pick k bit message out of that, and then that k bit message was passed through a linear block coder to give an n bit output, message output, or encoded message output. So this was the function of this is how linear block code used to work. In convolution code, we do not, in convolution code, when we talk about convolution code, we do not take input bits, we do not divide input message sequence we do not take a segment of input message sequence. Rather, what do? We take whole input message sequence. It is taken all together. So in convolution code, whole input message is taken all together and it is mapped into a code word. So this is the first prime difference between linear block codes and convolution codes. The second difference is in linear block codes, when we talk about linear block codes, the linear block codes, they do not possess memory elements. Whereas when we will be talking about, we'll see over here, convolution codes, they possess memory elements, which means that the present output not only depends upon the present input, but it also depends upon the past input bits. So therefore, just a second. So we're saying that linear block codes, they do not possess memory elements, whereas convolution codes, they possess memory elements. So the present output bit, of convolution codes not only depends on present input bit, but also on past input bit. So like linear block code, we used to represent linear block code by the terminology n, k. The convolution codes will be represented by n, k, m, where n is denotes the number of output lines. K denotes the number of input lines, and M denotes the number of memory elements. So in convolutional codes, we will be using memory elements which will be storing our past input bits. Similar to your linear block codes, convolution codes can also be categorized into two types of codes, which are systematic and non-systematic codes. And we understand by the term systematic, we means here parity bits and input bits are separable, whereas in non-systematic codes, they will be non-separable. So there will be one-to-one mapping of input sequence with the code words in non-systematic convolution codes. So convolution encoder has few properties, which are the first property is defined by, we define it by the term code rate. It means it is defined as the number of input lines to that of output lines. So therefore, if you are defining a convolution encoder by this order, n comma k comma m is the order of convolution code, its code rate will be given by k by m. So we have discussed that k denotes the number of input lines, whereas n denotes the number of output lines. Now let us understand the basics how a convolution encoder works. Now suppose we have a 2, 1, 3 convolution encoder. So this means we will be having 2 output lines, 1 input line and 3 memory elements. And the circuit diagram for that convolution encoder is given. So these 3 are your memory elements. Basically, these are shift registers. And from here, you will be giving your input stream. So you should have two outputs. So two outputs will be represented by VK1 and VK2, and these two outputs, they will be depending upon the present, both the outputs will be depending upon the present input, but they will also depend upon the past output. So VK1 is the modulo 2 addition of all the 3 bits. So this is just one of the example of a type of convolution encoder. There can be some other circuits also. So the first output bit, that means VK1, is calculated by modulo 2 addition of all the 3 outputs of the shift registers, that is DK minus 2, DK minus 1 and DK, where DK is the present input bit. Whereas VK2 is the modulo 2 addition of DK minus 2 and DK. Fine. Now suppose, let us take an example. Now suppose our input data stream U is 11010. So this is, it is a 5-bit message stream. Now let us say how does this convolution, what will be the encoder output? So encoder output is represented, so these two will be encoder output, and the encoder output is represented by VK1, VK2, then again VK plus 1, so this is how we represent encoder output. So, and this will go on. So let us study how will we find out the encoded output for the given data stream. So initially let us consider the instance. Initial conditions are when all the contents of the shift registers are 0. So at k is equal to 0, so we are going to represent shift register contents, and then on the basis of that we'll be representing output. So VK1 and VK2. So initially we'll assume, let's write down the value of K over here. So initially, when K is equal to 0, the initial contents of the shift registers are 0, 0 and 0. And we will not be considering output at that instance because our input bits have not yet supplied, are not yet supplied. Fine. So at K is equal to 0, 0, at K is equal to 0, the shift contents of shift registers are all 0. Now, the first bit, this is your first bit, it enters into the shift register. So this first bit will enter over here. So this would become 1. The 0 which was initially over here, it will be shifted here and here. So the order in which I'm representing it is, this would be dk, dk minus 1 and dk minus 2. So when 1 at k is equal to 1, the first bit enters, so dk becomes 1. This will be 0 and this would be 0. At k is equal to 2, the second bit enters. So second bit is 1. So what will happen? The second bit, the first bit which was here, this was 0, this was 0. Now the 1 which was here, it will be replaced. It will be replaced by here. 0 which was here, it was shifted here. So ये 0 तो same रहेगा. And the second bit, 1 will enter here. So the content of the shift register will now become 110. So let me write that down here. So it would become 110. At k is equal to 3, the next cycle, at k is equal to 3, our third bit will enter. This is your third bit. 0 will enter and this 1 will be shifted here. So the 1 which was here, it will come here. The 1 at the position dk will come here. And over here, the new bit will come and the new bit is 0. So the content of shift register will be now 0, 1, 1. Now again, the new bit will come, which is 1. So 1 will be here. This 0 will come here and this 1 will be shifted here. So I'm removing the past bits. So the new contents of the shift register will become 101. Now for fifth bit, 0 will enter. So 0 will be entering over here. So this 1 will be shifted here. This 0 will be shifted here and the past bits will be removed. So past bits were represented by green color. So they will be removed. So the new contents of the shift registers are 0, 1, 0. So by now all the 5 bits have entered, but the fifth bit has not propagated to all the shift registers. So what we have to do, we want that each and every bit should go through all the shift registers. So we will be inserting till this last digit. Till this last digit. This last digit does not go through the dk minus 2, the cycle will not be finished. So what do we have to do next? Since the last bit was 0, we have to shift this 0 to the next bit. This 1 will be shifted here and the new bit that will be shifted will be inserting zeros, will be augment the input stream with zeros. So the new contents of shift registers will now become 0, 0, 1. Now again, this was the last bit. This was the last bit that we were talking about. Sorry. This is the last bit that we are talking about. Still, it is at the dk-1 place. It has to propagate. Again, we'll be shifting it by 1 bit. And this 0 will come here. This 0 will come here. And we'll again add the new 0. We'll remove, and this was your last bit. So now the last bit that entered the shift registers, it has propagated through all the 3 shift registers. So our final data stream would be the last data stream would be 0, 0, 0. Now let us find out the output at each instances. So Vk minus 1 is the modulo 2 addition of all the 3 input bits, all the 3 output bits of the shift registers. So the output would be Vk1 would be 1. It is the modulo 2 addition of all the 3 bits. This, and this. So we'll be the output will be 1 when the number of ones will be odd. So here 1, 1, there are 2 ones, so output will be 0. 2 ones, output would be 0. 2 ones, output would be 0. 1, 1, 1, output would be 1, 1, and 0. And Vk2, you can see over here, Vk1 is the modulo 2 addition of all the 3 bits, and Vk2 is the modulo 2 addition of dk minus 2 and dk. That means which 2 rows? dk minus 2 and dk. So you have to do modulo 2 addition of these 2 columns. So 1 and 0 would be 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. So your encoded output for the input message sequence 11010 would be we'll be writing this term first, 1, 1, then second instance term, zero, 1, then again 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. So this would be your encoded output.
Ma'am, is there a general method that we can use to define the relation between the output and input lines?
No, it depends upon the designer.
So, like, what is the optimum way of doing it if it's from a design perspective?
Optimum, I mean, I did not understand your question.
Like, how does a designer decide how to create what relation to make between the output and input lines?
Okay, that will be studying in the next sections. Right now, we just discussed what is an example. There is a generator, there is a generator matrix, and there are certain rules to define how do we design such encoder circuits.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, we'll be studying those in the coming lectures. There are different approaches that are followed to design such circuits. Now repeat. Now try repeating or try obtaining the encoded output for the input message stream. Triple 101. So this is your encoder, convolution encoder. You have to determine the encoder output. For the input data stream, which is 11101. Yes.
We have to find out VK1 and VK2.
You have to find out the encoder output.
Ma'am, my encoder output is like that.
Sorry, Manali, I'm not able to hear you.
Ma'am, my encoder output is 0011 0110 0100
Can you type it in chat box because I'm unable to follow you what you're saying. Can you type your final answer in the chat box?
Ma'am, the input is 11101, right?
Yeah, right. Input is 11101.
Ma'am, the encoded output is coming out to be 1101 10 0100
110.
1101 10 01
Let me write down. Otherwise, you can 1101
01 10
10
01
01
00
00
10
10
11 and 00.
I think this is correct. Let me recheck.
Ma'am, for VK, ma'am, for the second bit, we are taking modular addition on DK and DK minus 2, right?
For the second bit, DK and DK minus 2.
Okay.
So I think it should be
Ma'am, I put on
1111.
No.
Is it correct? किसी और का भी यही आया है क्या?
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes, Manali.
could you please check chat box?
अच्छा. Zero zero तो will not consider Manali. First instance when the content of shift registers are all zero, उस वक्त हमारी क्योंकि input bit नहीं है तो हम लोग वो वाला output नहीं consider करेंगे. So we'll be starting with the second bit. K is equal to 1 instance. We'll be starting from that thing. So output would be 1101 10 0100 10 11 and 00. अच्छा, महर्षि ने भी यही कहा था तो आई थिंक आप दोनों का आंसर टैली कर रहा है. मैंने अपने क्वेश्चन में कुछ मिस्टेक करी होगी तो दैट मीन्स इसीलिए मेरा गलत आ रहा होगा. और किसी ने भी ट्राई किया है? इज इट द सेम? मेरे में ये 1111 आ रहा था इनिशियली.
मैम 1101 ही आना चाहिए वैसे.
हाँ मैंने वो देख लिया, वो 1101 ही होना चाहिए.
Okay.
So the answer is so this is your encoded output. Fine. So I'll be discussing up till this portion only over here. From the next class, we'll be discussing about the different approaches that are used to encode. So this is the basic of convolution to understand how do we actually code our data bits using convolution codes. From the next class, we'll be discussing these in details. So thank you class. I'll wind up my class now.
Ma'am, what will be the format for ANSYM of ITC? I mean, will it be on Examiner or Google Forms?
It will be an Examiner.
Ma'am,
Dr. Varun Saxena. It will be an Examiner.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, so what will be the weightage of the two parts of the course?
We have to decide that yet. But basically, since maybe 60 and 40, 60% by of the weightage will be what Dr. Saxena has taught you, and 40 will be mine. His syllabus was more. The content that he taught was more as compared to my contents. So maybe 60%. We have not decided that yet.
Ma'am, as for the portion covered by you, are your notes sufficient, or do we
My
need to-
my notes are sufficient. Plus, I'll be posting few more numericals for your practice, so
Okay.
that you could have more idea about the topics.
So we don't need to refer to any text.
I don't think so. You need to refer to any text.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Most welcome. Okay, are there any more questions, or shall I wind up this class? Okay, thank you all.